This December is shaping up to be the coldest and the snowiest December in years. What is up, weather enthusiasts? I'm your host, Pat's Path Predictor. Let's get right into the weather. All right, so here's the situation we have for you, ladies and gentlemen. We have quite a bit to discuss today. We have another snow system moving through parts of the Midwest and the northeastern United States today. We have another system after that, and then we're just going to start talking more long-term as well today. So we have quite a lot to cover, especially for the first couple of weeks of December, and then going past that as well, just looking at some data and seeing how snowy it is, and if we could potentially see a white Christmas because of all this activity. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and dive right into it right here. All right, starting off, we have the North American model pulled up for you guys right here. Here's the 12Z pulled up. This is the latest data that we have for you guys right here. So here's the situation that we have starting out right here. It's this snow system right here that's going to be moving through parts of the United States, moving already through Kansas into Missouri, expected to move into Illinois a little bit later today, into tonight as well, and then kind of blitz its way towards the Mid-Atlantic and New England as well. So here's what we got for you right here. Some snow is expected from pretty much from Chicago all the way to St. Louis to Indianapolis and all the way through Ohio as well. This does look like it's going to be one of your classic I-70 storms, which for those of you who do not know, it's a snow system that has its heaviest snow on the I-70 corridor, which is pretty much from Kansas City all the way to Indy, all the way to Pennsylvania as well. So it's shaping up to be one of those systems. The heaviest snow is going to be starting to impact especially Indiana and Kentucky into the evening and the overnight hours. And then as we get to the morning, we do have this system really moving through parts of Pennsylvania, New York, and then the rest of New England as well, as the system finally starts to exit the United States in a couple of days. And then we have another system potentially developing right here, moving through parts of the United States, moving through especially the Great Lakes of Michigan right here, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, into Indiana, Illinois. So we're seeing back-to-back snow systems right here that we're going to want to pay attention to. And then another Alberta clipper behind that for the 5th of December, and then some more mountain snow, and another low-pressure system developing behind that too in British Columbia. So we have quite a lot to go ahead and discuss with so far. We also need to take a look at the temperatures as well, because those temperatures are going to stay below freezing for a lot of the areas that we're going to get impacted by snow. When we talked about it this weekend, there was that rain-snow line that existed. Now, or especially areas in the Midwest, that rain-snow line doesn't really exist at this current point because all the temperatures are below freezing at this current point in time. Here's your total snow accumulations that we have from the Midwest according to the NAM. Definitely a bit of an escalation, I would say, compared to what we saw previously, at least with this particular system. Potentially up to 6 inches of snow possible for central Missouri, up to 5 to 6 inches for parts of central Illinois as well. 4 to 6 is generally the range right here. Areas just north of St. Louis could see 3 to 5 as well. But it may not seem like much, but it's still going to bring some impacts, especially for the evening commute, and even going into the morning commute tomorrow. Going into Ohio, we're looking at 3 to 5 inches for pretty much the entire state with this snow system right here. And then shifting over to the Mid-Atlantic, here's what we got for you guys right here. Really starts to ramp up in the mountain regions in New Hampshire. I will say potentially up to 20 inches of snow up there. And then as you're taking a quick gander, you're looking at 3 to 5 inches of snow for West Virginia, Pennsylvania, especially the more mountain regions. Scranton, Willis Sparks could see 6 to 8 from this as well. Upstate New York, especially Albany, could see 8 inches of snow. Massachusetts, potentially up to a foot of snow as well, maybe even higher in the upper elevations. So you're definitely going to want to pay attention to it. Looks like New England is going to be getting the brunt of the snowfall, which isn't particularly that surprising, mainly because of the higher elevations in the Appalachians up there. Now we need to go ahead and talk temperature, because what's the temperature going to be as this system starts to pull through? Temperature starts to really bomb out. It really starts to get cold across a lot of the Midwest and the Mid-Atlantic as well. That freezing line by Wednesday morning right here goes all the way down to near the Gulf Coast in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, as far south as southern Georgia, as well. You're seeing that freezing line really starting to ramp up right there, and definitely a situation that you're going to want to watch out for those tuning in the deep south that are wanting to know what the temperature is going to be like. So that's going to be the situation. We have another Arctic blast moving through parts of the United States going into Wednesday as well, so you're going to want to pay attention as to that as this high pressure system starts to move through much of the region. We'll talk more about that in just a few minutes, but I just wanted to give a quick temperature check just to give you guys some context and idea of what we may be looking like. Now shifting over to the GEM GDPS, we're going to talk more long term a little bit, just to kind of give you an idea of what may be happening after the 5th of December. You have this clipper moving through, and then you have another system the GEM GDPS wants in the Mid-Atlantic. It's been very iffy with that kind of stuff. I'm holding off. Then you have another clipper system moving through parts of the Midwest and the Great Plains into potentially the Mid-Atlantic. Another system after another system. It's literally back to back to back snow systems that are going to be moving through much of the Midwest, just snow system after snow system, according to the GEM GDPS, just to show the GFS for some context as well. Here's your GFS run. Granted, this does go out further and all of that, and it is a bit more outlandish the further out you go, but it still can give you an idea of what we may be looking like right here, showing those back-to-back-to-back systems right there. And then as time continues to go on, you see those low-pressure systems. Another Colorado low starts to develop and potentially bring impacts to much of the Mid-Atlantic and the Midwestern U.S. as well. As we get to the 15th, they're forecasting a pretty significant snowfall for much of the Great Plains and the upper Midwest as well. Keep in mind, this is 15 days out. This is completely different to a lot of other runs we've seen. This is Fantasyland at this current point, but I do want to illustrate this just to kind of show you, okay, what are we looking at right here? What could we be seeing at this current point? Just to kind of give you some context and give you an idea that, hey, we are paying attention to this long run, and based on the synoptics that we've been paying attention to, it definitely favors a very snowy pattern going down the line. Obviously, exact track is not what we're looking at with this. We're just looking at the pattern, just taking a quick gander at these maps for you guys. Right here, that's the main gist that we can kind of give you for it at this current point. So that's what we're seeing right here. Let's go ahead and take a look at potential snow accumulations. We're going to start with the European, just to kind of dive right into it. Here's your 0Z European. Now these are this is just total cumulative after you add all the snow systems up together, pretty much for the entire run. But we can go ahead and kind of break it up and show you what we might be seeing. So this is the December 5th system for much of Illinois, much of the Midwest as well. You're looking at already the snow system from the 1st through the 3rd, as well as some mountain snow that's going to be moving through. December 5th to 6th doesn't produce too much. Then on the 7th, the European wants a pretty big snow system to move through central Iowa into northern Illinois, potentially bringing another 5 to 6 inches of snow in some areas as well that you're going to want to watch out for as well. And then you have another system coming in on the 9th that brings in more widespread snow. It's literally back to back to back to back. And look at the Great Lakes region as well. Just the amount of lake effect snow that we're forecasting with this as well is going to be pretty interesting, to say the very least. We're going to want to pay attention to that and see how this all pans out. We've been talking about this a little bit last month, especially in November, how the water temperatures in all the Great Lakes are considerably above average. Like, it's not even close at this current point. And when you have this much of an Arctic air situation where you have so much cold temperature, many cold temperatures to deal with, it's going to only exacerbate the lake effect snow issue as well for that region. So that's going to be meaning more snowfall for you guys up there. So that's what we're paying attention to according to the European. Here's the GFS for you guys right here, really wanting the mountain snow to blow up. And then this snow system that wants in the 15th to the 16th. Let me see this before. It wants 20 inches of snow in Minneapolis. Guys, this is 300 plus hours out. Take it with a massive pinch of salt. It's most likely going to be ironed out or not happen at all. But the case in point is just the amount of snowfall we're looking throughout the entire United States already in just the first 2 weeks of December. And we're not even in at least official winter. We are in meteorological winter today. That's the first day of that. We're not even officially in quote-unquote winter at this current point. That should tell you all you need to know. And then going even past that, you're still going to see a very favorable pattern for snowfall as well, especially when you deal with those temperatures as well. Here are your temperatures that we're looking at right here, according to the European. You have this massive Arctic wave moving through pretty much from Minnesota all the way down to Missouri, all the way to Maine as well, pretty much encompassing potentially up to 100 million people in the United States right here. Could see single-digit temperatures based on what I'm seeing right here. This is for the morning of December 5th right here, the very early morning in the overnight hours of the 5th at least. You're going to want to watch out for that and pay attention to that as well. Things really continue to ramp up with another Arctic wave moving through much of the Midwest and the Mid-Atlantic. You see that freezing line just continues to dip down to the deep south as well. And then you look at these temperatures. You're looking at minus 10, minus 15 degrees as well. That is insanely cold for at least this time of year in that part of the country. Now, it was really cold last year in this part of the U.S. as well, so that's something to keep in mind. But my goodness, just the temperatures that we're dealing with are just absolutely insane. And then as we get to December 10th and then the 11th as well, things do start to calm down. But then you have a bit of an Arctic push moving through much of the U.S., especially going to the 15th and into the 16th once again. So you might see a little bit of a lull going into the middle part of the month, but then another push of very cold temperatures after that. It's like I said in previous videos, this may not be as cold as 2013 or 2014, but it's definitely looking like it's going to be as active as 2013 or 2014. And this is the European run that we're showing you right here. And the fact that we're seeing all of this is just absolutely bonkers to me. And we're just seeing high pressure system after high pressure system after high pressure system coming out of Canada, really producing that Arctic cold that so many people dread, but others like, and all of that. So that's something to pay attention to just based on temperature alone. Now I want to go ahead and go more into the long range forecast and go, okay, we're seeing all of these patterns right here. How is this going to shape up in the long run, and why do I think December is going to be the coldest and snowiest month we have seen in the last while? So let's go ahead and pull up the CFS. Here is your CFS data for you guys right here, just pulling this up. This will go pretty much throughout the rest of this month and into January a little bit. So this is what we can at least pull for right here. This is mainly your 850 millibar temperature. So this is temperatures a little bit further up in the atmosphere, but it doesn't really give a good idea of just how the temperature is at the surface, how cold it'll be, but it does give a good idea as to where those troughs and where those ridges will align, where those high and low pressure systems will align as well. So that's something you're going to want to keep in mind. Pretty much you have the Arctic blast on the 4th and then the 7th and then going into the 9th as well. Just Arctic blast after Arctic blast, just after Arctic blast after Arctic blast. And you have a kind of a contrast I'm noticing right here. Kind of colder areas in the eastern United States, but warmer areas in the western U.S. as well, which I do think is pretty interesting as well. So that's definitely a bit of a ridge setup right here. Kind of lulls a little bit into the 14th. Then the 15th, you have another Arctic plunge moving through much of the United States as well. Taking a quick gander at this, my goodness, it just goes all the way down. Like all the pink on this goes all the way down. Like these are -2 Celsius, like these are -15 degrees Celsius, all the way down to North Carolina right here. I don't know how accurate that's gonna be or how that's going to hold. But if it does, that is going to plunge more people into some just cold temperatures we're going to deal with. Gets into a bit of a lull, but guess what? We're seeing more cold temperatures right after that. And another big blast right in time for Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. This is right in time for Christmas that we're paying attention to. Right in time for Christmas, December 23rd, the 24th, and the 25th. Look at this. By the time we get to Christmas, this is pretty much midnight on Christmas in Central Time Zone. It's cold, very cold, and you actually have a low pressure system at least moving into this region and really starting to develop. That could potentially produce some snowfall for much of the Midwest. So this actually is pretty favorable for a white Christmas. If you get a snow system like this, when you see low heights like this, when you see below 1380 meters at 850 millibars, that is indicative of a low pressure system and a pretty powerful low pressure system as well. That's going to produce a lot of snowfall. And a snow system like this would be very favorable for a white Christmas. A pattern like this would be perfect for it. Actually, for a lot of areas in the Midwest, in the Great Plains, the Great Lakes, the Mid-Atlantic, and in the New England. So if we see a scenario like this, you're going to get a lot of people are going to get a white Christmas right here. Because of this model and because of the pattern that we're looking at, the way I'm seeing this is based on everything we're seeing. And these are early indications. This is 3 weeks out at least. We are at a much greater chance for getting a white Christmas if you're not in the mountains, if you're in the Midwest, if you're in the northeastern U.S. that isn't in the higher elevations, if you're in the Great Lakes region, although lake effect snow definitely makes up for that. Even if you're in the Great Plains as well, and especially in the Mid-Atlantic, you're going to want to watch this, especially. This is a very likely white Christmas type scenario for a lot of people. And then as we go ahead and move into the 24th and the 25th, like I said before, things really start to ramp up. They kind of start to calm down a little bit in the 28th and the 29th and the 30th. You do have some cold temperatures moving through. And then as you get to January, you have another cold push moving through as well, taking a quick gander, going all the way down to the Gulf region as well. And then as we get to January 3rd, that's where we're left off with at that current point. But still, even looking at the early indications, just seeing all the polar plunges and all the troughs and all the just cold temperature anomalies that we're seeing is quite insane. It's quite absurd to see this. Yes, it's early out. These are early indications, but the fact that we're seeing a channel and a pattern like this, we haven't seen something like this, at least in terms of activity, since 2013 and 2014. Is it going to be as cold as 2013 or 2014? I said this earlier in the video. No, it's not going to be. It's going to be more up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down for a lot of regions, but it's definitely going to be active. And that's definitely going to mean more snowfall, especially with those colder temperatures. It doesn't have to be minus 15 aloft to get snowfall. No, it just needs to get down to maybe down to about in the 20s at the surface for it to just keep producing snowfall after snowfall after snowfall. So that's something that we need to continue to watch out for, and we'll continue to update you here on the Pat's Path Predictor channel. But another thing I do want to take a quick gander at is potential severe weather. What's the SPC going for right here? Not too much happening, at least for the next few days at this current point in time. I'm not too concerned about that. Let me go ahead and shift my screen back. And I'm not really that concerned about it. Just want to take a quick look at the K profiles real quickly, just more so in the long run. It's actually not going to be as big of a severe weather threat that I'm concerned about, mainly because those cold temperatures move into parts of the deep south. It's mainly going to be more so this is going to be a very active winter pattern as well, which is always a good sign for those who are snow lovers in the Midwest. So that's just another quick tidbit I want to kind of get my hands on and take a quick look at before I start to wind down this video. But what are the key takeaways with this? Well, key takeaway number one, let's go ahead and show it. It's going to be cold. That's the first thing. Second key takeaway, there's going to be a lot of snow, especially over the next couple of weeks if you're in the Midwest, the Great Lakes, the Mid-Atlantic, and New England. That's the second key takeaway for this. And the third and final key takeaway is the pattern that we're seeing is just the start, and it's going to continue through the second half of December. The temperatures and where the low pressure systems develop, we don't know at all where it's going to be. We have a general idea of what it may look like based on the troughs and the ridges and the synoptic patterns, but we do have we don't know where exactly it's going to be snowing. We just can give you a rough patch based on those temperatures and based on those analogs that we looked at earlier, that it's going to be a very snowy winter, and your chances for a white Christmas are going to skyrocket this season for those of you who are wanting it in the Midwest. So that's kind of how we're going to wrap today's video up for you today. We'll keep you updated on everything here on the Pat's Path Predictor channel. We always have and we always will. But get ready for winter. Now's the time to do that if you're not going to get snow. And if you are going to get snow, make final preparations and keep your eye on the weather. But with that being said, we're closing the video out right here. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Goal, as always, is to get more people engaged with weather. If you'd like to help out, hang out, ask us questions, feel free to join the Storms United Discord server. Link to that is in the end screen. And with that being said, have a wonderful day, guys. Stay safe.